Hello, friends. It's that time of year. Good morning. How much Masters golf have you watched? Nobody?
Yeah, bits and pieces, 2 days.
of it off and on.
Off and on.
Off and on, yeah. It's been on my TV round the clock. Trying to pay some attention to it. Brett?
A few hours.
Few hours?
The one golf tournament I will watch.
Yeah. Well,
all 4 days, a little bit of.
I thought you were
Sunday,
going to say all four majors.
wall to wall.
I like all four majors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And my favorite one is whichever one's the hardest. I don't need to see these people shoot 20 under par.
Yeah.
You know, in a
You
major.
like what, 4 under par?
Yeah.
Even?
Yeah.
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 Normally that's the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
As a general.
And the British.
Yeah.
British.
Depending on
for
conditions.
Sure.
The British most of the time is my favorite because it's so hard. At times anyway. Rodney says, hello, friend.
Hello, friend.
So, Jim Nance, the long time. Boy, he's had a busy couple of weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Watching his
Houston
Cougars play.
Sorry it ended in final heartbreak for him.
Yep. Watching his roommate in college nearly make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know who his roommate is. I saw Lenny shake his head. Brett, you know who his roommate was in college? Mike?
No.
No? Freddie Couples.
Freddie Couples.
Hmm.
He almost did.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he have one good round, I think? Maybe?
You know, I wondered. They never showed old Fred at the 12 hours on West Main in Maiden. Got no idea. Maybe Butch watched 12 hours of the Masters at West Main in Maiden. I don't know. I don't know if that's what that means or not.
Sounds like it.
But we'll find out. 12 hours.
Wow. 12 hours.
Yeah. I do enjoy watching the Masters. It's a beautiful course. I've
Oh.
never been to the course, but, you know.
It's fabulous.
I'd love to go.
Yeah. Brett has
Yep.
attended the Masters in the past. I wish Lanny was here to hit that button that gets the static out of the headset.
Well, we can always just take off the headsets.
What headset?
Two of them don't have headsets.
Yeah.
So.
Is it in yours too?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, enjoy the Masters. You think you guys think that is Rose still in the lead? Yes, I see that now.
he
Just
is.
by one stroke.
Shot up.
DeChambeau, who is going to win this tournament. Then McIlroy, who I want to win the tournament.
Now, he's never won the Masters.
He has not. That's the only.
He's won all the other majors.
That's the only one
Rory?
he hasn't won. Rory.
Yeah.
Rory
Yeah.
has not won the Masters. I hope he wins it. Myself, anyway. The Irishman.
Yep.
McCarthy. It looks like, you know, you want to say McCarthy, but it's McCarty. And Connors. Connors is 6 under, along with McIlroy and McCarty, another American in there at 5 under. You take somebody that's in that field, or you got somebody else?
Well, don't forget Scheffler.
I think
We
Scheffler,
mentioned
he's
him.
at -5, so he's right behind him.
Yeah, there's 4 guys at 5 under.
Okay. I didn't. Let's see if it.
Terrell Hatton, Scheffler, Shane Lowry, and McCarty.
4 of them there.
There's some big guns there.
I would take
Scheffler.
the combination of Scheffler, DeChambeau over the rest of the field. I would say one of those 2 guys is going to win it.
Yeah. Rose had a pretty good lead on the opening day.
Oh, he shot an incredible
About
64?
Yeah.
Wow.
What'd they say? 63 was the.
But yesterday
record,
was
wasn't it?
just par, right?
Yes, or what
He,
did
ga- well,
71.
He gained a shot, I believe, didn't he? Wasn't he?
Okay. I thought he was 8 under after day 1.
No, he
Seven.
he was 7 under.
Okay. Yep, that's right then. He did pick up.
He was two shots off the course record on Thursday.
Yes, they kept
Thursday.
talking about how the course recovered from the Hurricane Helene damage. Did you guys notice anything? I didn't really. They say that some of the views were less obscured because a lot of trees came down. But
Well, I heard. Now, I believe this was on just regular WBTV. They were talking about down at Amen Corner on 13 or 12. I can't. That they'd lost 6 pines of the
6
tall
pines,
pines,
yeah.
and you know, you don't you don't remember them, you don't hardly notice. But then,
No.
like you said, some of the golfers had said that they used some of the trees as aiming points,
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't there. You know,
It'd be bad if they moved.
Yeah.
No.
I don't remember who that was.
The main limb was gone that I used to shoot at or something like that. Do you guys think that now usually they put the hole placement and make it tougher, a little tougher each day, right? All 4 days it gets a little tougher with the hole placement. So if we've got 8 under right now leading this thing, what number do you think it's going to take to win it? Do you think 12 under can win it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
Well,
think it was.
3 or 4 more shots.
yeah. I think they're going to have to get to 11 or 12
Yeah.
to win it.
Is the Masters course hard enough? Should it be tougher? I mean, you got a guy goes out there. I know everybody didn't do it, but you got a guy goes out there the first day and shoots 7 under. I mean, that's pretty stout,
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's totally on.
Well, that's true, but they'd had a lot of rain up till Thursday, and that makes the green. But they're gonna get harder and
Yeah, they are.
and
Yeah.
faster as the.
No rain today.
Yeah, I heard some
Could be breezy.
coverage early Thursday. There were some guys saying that it was the perfect day for somebody to break the course
Scoring.
record.
Mm.
It was perfect conditions for somebody to shoot real low.
What's the course record?
62.
9 under,
Yeah.
9 under.
63.
Yeah.
As far as Masters
Right,
tournament
yeah.
play, I don't know about,
Joe Blow goes out there and
Yeah,
shoots a
and-
49.
I doubt that's ever happened.
First 9 maybe.
Biggest surprise, the collapse of Brooks Koepka. Didn't make the cut.
Who
All he
wa-
needed was
who were other big names that didn't make the cut? Is that the biggest name?
I have to say he's
one of the
there.
biggest, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
all he needed was a bogey on the 18th to survive, but he
Dustin
quadrupled.
Johnson, I don't know. He hadn't really been relevant since he moved to live. Tony Finau didn't make it.
Mhm.
Phil Mickelson
They said
didn't.
he had
Phil
made it.
Mickelson.
He had made it every year. He had been there, Finau, till this year.
Adam Scott, and he usually plays
Yeah,
pretty
he's a
well at the
former champ.
Masters.
Hmm. Who is the most consistent golfer right now that you can look for to be in every single tournament? Is that Scheffler?
I'd say Sheffield.
You
Or every
probably
tournament he's
have to
in,
say
anyway.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Xander Schauffele's really consistent, too. He's
Would DeChambeau not
He's
be if
usually-
he didn't play live?
yeah.
I mean,
It seems like every major he's in the running.
he's changed his whole attitude too. He's become the friendly guy. That,
Yeah.
he has, hadn't he?
You know, yeah, that wants to.
Yeah, he was the bad guy. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
And I don't know why. What in golf makes you the bad
I
guy?
don't know. How do you become a bad guy in golf?
I mean, Brett maybe can answer that. I don't know. What is it that makes you?
I
It's
know- I
always
don't
a
know, but-
sport of nice
Number
manners.
one is going to LIV.
I know.
Yeah.
I know other players didn't really care for him a few years ago.
Yeah.
And
Well, which two had the beef? Wasn't that
Him and Koepka.
Him and
Yeah.
Koepka. Okay, and they would like
but I think they're friendly now.
Are they?
I think they like each other. Yeah.
Yeah. yeah.
And I was always more of a Koepka fan than a DeChambeau fan.
I'd rather it be the other way though. where
Koepka's just quiet and
where
it
they
look-
don't like
looks like he
each
doesn't
other.
really care half the time. Doesn't want to talk to anybody. He,
not even his wife. Ain't he the one that kind of snubbed his wife when they were walking down the
Oh,
path to the next hole or something?
There was
Maybe
I
2 or
can't-
3 years ago. Yeah,
I can't remember which one, but there was somebody that.
he's kind of shrugged or something. And I guess he was mad at the way he had been playing that day or whatever. But I don't. I kind of like it whenever there's something between some of the competitors. A little bit of
it
edge
livens
there.
it up a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. What time they get underway today? Like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
I believe I
Two.
heard.
that's probably the TV time. They'll
TV.
definitely be playing much earlier
I
than
think
that.
it's 12 on
But the field's cut in
Paramount
half,
Plus,
right?
and then it goes
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I would guess they start around 9, maybe.
Okay, that early. Okay.
Well, I heard they're still selling pimento cheese sandwiches for $1.50.
Yep.
Mike would even eat, maybe.
Egg salad. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it goes up to $2. Mike's
you
out.
get $2. That's yeah.
Who's your pick to win? No, not who you want to win. Who's your pick to win?
They start at 9:50.
9:50 this morning.
I'm going to go with DeChambeau.
I am too.
Rose hasn't won his only majors like 10, 12 years ago. But
Roy's my favorite. But
yeah, Rory's my
Rory is
sentimental
my favorite, but I'm just afraid that he'll find a way to mess it
He'll
up
find a way.
on Sunday.
The only thing I can say about Roy, he could have discombobulated after Thursday.
Yeah, he could have. He could have
And
fallen
he come back
apart.
yesterday and shot a
Played good.
Very
I
resilient.
thought yesterday.
Best round of the day,
if
wasn't
he
it?
hadn't even just halfway finished on Thursday, he'd be in the lead right now.
Yeah, he had an awful finish
Yeah.
on Thursday.
Two bogeys and
Two-
a bogey, wasn't it?
Two double bogeys
Double bogeys
Yeah.
and a bogey.
in the last 4 holes.
Yeah, I saw one of the shows yesterday before it actually was aired on TV. I don't understand. Do you guys understand? Well, let me get this out first. One of the shows said there's never been a golfer. I think this is right. There's never been a golfer in the Masters that had 2 double bogeys in the entire tournament that won it. Is that right? Did you guys hear that?
Miss Springs.
I don't know.
Sure you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 2 in a 3-hole stretch.
Yeah.
He double bogeyed 15 and 17.
Yeah, you might notice, of course, the tournament without Tiger, right?
Correct.
What about it?
Well, just
Was
saying, I mean, even though he's on the twilight of his career, I mean, he still creates a buzz when he's around,
Oh, yeah, he's still the biggest draw when he's there.
when he's there.
Mm-hmm. Who is it if he's not?
Probably Rory.
Yeah.
I would say he's the
I'd
most
say,
popular.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Richard says the best story I heard was a golfer said during practice a huge pine tree fell on the course when he was like on hole number 14. By the time he finished the hole, a group of 30 guys were working on it, and by the time he finishes the round, you couldn't even tell the tree had been there. Yeah.
Whoa,
That's
30 guys.
Yeah,
30, yeah.
that's being on standby right there, buddy.
Mhm.
In place.
I like it. Yeah. Well, what else? You gotta. I mean, I guess you have to think about those, situations ahead of time and be prepared just in case something like that would happen. Fortunately, nobody's under the tree, right?
True.
I guess.
Yeah.
We hadn't heard anything that somebody might have been under the tree, but yeah, that you got to be prepared. In these days, when
And it was a Georgia pine, right?
I don't know, probably, but when did it break or did it uproot? That's
I don't-
usually
I
that's
don't-
usually the
Those
difference.
pines just break
That's right,
off.
they
It's
break off, and the
somewhere.
rest of them uproot. So
Yeah.
pines will, but it's a little more rare for them to do that. But
I had a bunch break off near me during the big microburst.
I
a
think
couple years ago.
everybody has had issues with a tree or
If
so
they fall in a different way, I probably
at some point.
it would have been bad.
Did you guys? I know Brett, Mike, and I said DeChambeau. Did you? Guys
I'll take
say-
Scheffler.
I
I'm
don't
not,
Yeah.
I'm, gonna
I'm
take
not picking
DeChambeau.
against.
Scheffler's
Scheffler.
just a consistent guy. isn't
Yeah.
he?
Yep.
Lenny, you
I'm going to
taking
go the opposite. I'm going to go with Scheffler. Even though he's the defending champ, he's
so
right
you
there.
and Brett with Scheffler, me and Mike with DeChambeau. No John Daly's.
I miss him.
Grip it and rip it.
Who do you miss more, Tiger or John Daly? So
Both of them.
yeah,
We
Yep.
need a few more characters.
Yep.
I think we're missing that right now.
That's really, you're right, Mike. Really, there is
When's the last character?
like you said, David. It seemed like when there's some rivalry out there.
Yeah, it
Even
adds to it.
Even though they claimed over later on Nicklaus and Palmer they were not for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and it might have been created more by the fans than the players. But
Probably was.
but
Probably was.
I want to run through some of the headlines. You guys can stop me if you want to talk about any of these. Jokic, third ever to average a triple-double in a season. Is he the best basketball player in the game right now, Brett? With LeBron's
Yeah.
age
Yes.
and
Yeah, I'd say he's the best.
Stephen's age, and of course Stephen still can score. I did hear he had 3 points in a game this year. A couple weeks
He's
ago.
had a few
3-point
really
game.
bad games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a sign
Steph
of
Curry.
slippage, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, somebody please, Brett, please explain Denver's coaching move at the end of the regular season.
I don't know if I can explain it.
I know the answer.
Joker doesn't like the guy, right? Anymore?
Joker and 15 other guys on the roster
Okay.
were miserable.
All right.
Was what I read this morning.
I'm just
The
saying,
team
2
was-
years removed
The
from an
team
NBA
was
coach.
absolutely miserable.
Okay.
Is what it said. What
Well,
I
the
read
guy
this morning.
he's an old school guy, right? The
Mm.
coach.
Evidently, but I don't know what being miserable means. I mean,
Right.
you did win a title, right? 2 years ago. I don't know what you do there. I mean, it seemed the only thing that seemed odd to me was the timing.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks before the playoffs, and the guy gets fired. What have they done? Anybody know what have they done as an assistant now, the head coach? I mean, it has to be somebody.
Somebody would have to step into the
Yeah,
breach.
it's going to have to be somebody on the staff because they know the players better than anybody else. At this point, I haven't even heard. I'm guessing the top assistant on the staff just stepped in and took over at the time.
David Adelman. I guess just an interim.
Is that the interim? I wonder if that's what you call the son.
Yeah, Rick
Mr.
Adelman.
Adelman.
Rick Adelman.
Mr. Adelman.
Pretty sure it is.
When you said that.
And you wonder, were the assistants behind this at all? I mean.
I don't. Well, they fired their GM too. Right?
Did they?
Yeah.
Wonder what. I mean, the GM don't usually weigh in a lot. I wouldn't think in game situations or anything like that. I don't understand.
No,
why the
but
GM
everybody,
because it looked like a good roster.
Everybody around the NBA the last few years since they won their title have said that they're not doing anything to help Jokic. I mean, they've lost more good players than they've added over the last 2 or 3 years. And one of the main NBA guys I listen to all the time is Bill Simmons, and he's complained. He loves Jokic, and he's complained about how Denver's just let guys go, good role players, and not brought any in. They have no bench production.
And you got
I don't think the GM being fired was a surprise at all, but the coach being fired with
2
a
weeks
week left, and they're going to make the playoffs, and they have a chance. I mean, they could win the title.
Yeah. Will the coach really make a difference? And I mean, I guess it will, but if the guy is qualified that stepped in, I mean, they should be okay, right? They're not going to, I don't think they're going to do anything special or anything different.
Yeah.
Than they've been doing. It's too late to change. You may tweak it a little bit, but I don't think you make any major changes. Luka likes title chances as Lakers lock up the 3 seed. Is that okay to say? You got to have confidence.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't say we're going to win it or anything like that.
Yeah. We'll go back here just a minute and read a comment by Butch. It goes back to the golf today. You can determine bad guys by the certain opponents. Jack versus Arnie. Who was the bad guy in Jack versus Arnie? I mean, I thought they were both good guys.
Both good guys.
Jack early.
Yeah.
Because
Jack
he was
early.
kind of pushing in on the Army.
Okay.
Yeah, Arnie's Army.
Tiger versus Freddie. Sam Snead versus Byron Nelson.
Okay.
Sevy Ballesteros and Greg Norman.
Yeah. There's a little tension there.
Yeah. I don't even remember that. I'm not old enough, Butch. I'm just kidding. Sevy and Greg Norman.
Does Butch go all the way back to Sam Snead and Byron Nelson?
Yeah, it was on there. I said that one already, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think. Snead and Nelson, yeah. Then he says, when you retire and you get your own tournament, you automatically become a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay, like the Byron Nelson Classic
or whatever.
Yeah. I was listening to this guy yesterday, and he was talking about, I can't remember who he said now, but he was talking about the person that had the best swing ever in golf. And it might have been Byron Nelson. I can't remember if that's who he was talking about or not. But it was a name, a very popular name like that you'd know, and said everybody wished they had. It might have been Ben Hogan. I believe it was Ben Hogan. That goes way back, doesn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Even before your time, Mike, or
I don't know. Bobby Jones was when I started watching.
It looks like Ben Hogan was winning his majors in the late 40s and early 50s.
Late 40s, early 50s.
I'm right there with you, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this thought yesterday of I could see how basketball was invented and started, back in the day, and rugby and football. I can even see that, and baseball and cricket together. You can even see that. How in the world was golf invented, though? Because first of all, somebody had to invent just the golf ball, and then something to hit it with, right? And then who in the world thinks to make it, 500 yards away and put a hole? Who invented golf?
Unlike some of the other sports, I don't know of one key guy like
And
James Naismith.
I'm guessing it was in Scotland or
had to be,
England or something like that. But I mean, I don't know that I ever heard the name who actually invented golf, who's credited with it. Now somebody might have thought of it and then it got stolen before they ever played a tournament or anything. But I was just thinking the way golf is played. Man, you got to have a great imagination.
It says that the modern game of golf originated in 15th century Scotland.
Whoa.
15th century.
Which would make it the 1400s.
1400s,
Wow.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. So maybe by a group is the only thing I can think of.
I don't know.
Scotland. Yep.
Wow.
It says the first written record of golf is James II's banning of the game in 1457 as an unwelcome distraction to learning archery.
A
Yeah, because
distraction
you
to
really
learning
can't defend the crown if you play golf, right?
That's funny. So archery was more important.
And then James IV lifted the ban in 1502 when he became a golfer himself.
Oh. Yeah.
With golf clubs first recorded in 1503, 1504.
So multiple clubs at that time. Because don't you guess when they started it was one? You just
Right.
did everything with
You
one
would think
Same.
one club. So now multiple clubs. And what's the limit in your bag? Anybody know that?
14,
14,
I think.
14 clubs in the bag. Butch says I was right with Hogan. Hogan, Sweet Swing, Snead, lived in North Carolina, loved Greensboro. So Sam Snead lived in North. Jason, going back to the NBA, good morning. Denver general manager and coach, former coach and GM did not get along. We're having issues all season long. The biggest issue was that general manager wanted the players to play, and the coach wanted to play the vets. Like, okay, the GM wanted young players to play, and the coach wanted vets to play because he wanted to win right away. I guess that's my guess.
Yeah.
Vets like Russell Westbrook. Ownership planned to fire them at the end of the playoffs, but didn't want to be in a situation where if the Nuggets made a title run, then the coach nor GM would be fired. Yeah. Well, yeah, it maybe could have waited. I could see it either way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think it's that
if
dire
they
need-
made a title run, if they actually won it, they don't deserve to be fired.
That's true.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's true, maybe. And that's
Especially the coach.
That's why they did it. Sound like because there was fear it would be, and they done made their mind up.
The coach that comes to mind to me when I hear something like that is Marty Schottenheimer. In his final year with the Chiefs, wasn't it the Chiefs, 14-2, or was it the Chargers? He was with one of the two, and he went 14-2 and got fired at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the all-time.
I can't remember if it was Chargers or Chiefs. I think
it
it was
was
Chargers.
Chiefs. Well, I'm not sure.
Well, he was Chiefs from 89 to 98, Chargers 02 to 06.
Yeah, what was does it got his records there? Because it was
It was 14-2.
the final year was
I do remember that.
14-2, yeah. And that's unheard of in the NFL. and
Chargers,
it was the
Chargers.
Chargers.
2006.
Yeah, he and the Chargers owner's kind of I don't know.
And lost to
say
New
it and be
England in
nice. A
the-
quirky dude anyway. Spanos, is that his name?
Spano, yeah.
Yeah, and they just didn't get along, But I'm probably going to get along if we're 14-2. I'm going to find a way if I'm the owner.
Yeah.
I'm going to get along if we're 14-2. I don't even know if he got to coach in the playoffs that year. But obviously they didn't win the Super Bowl because the Chargers. They didn't even go because the Chargers only been to one, right? And I don't think it was Marty when the
No,
49ers
that was,
beat them.
was that Bobby Ross?
Bobby Ross, yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Georgia Tech, right?
Chargers, one of how many teams that have never won the Super Bowl? It's a lot.
About 8 or 10.
8 or
Yep.
10.
Yep.
Or
Even Minnesota and Buffalo most notable
yeah.
because 4 opportunities.
Which franchises have never been to the Super Bowl? I can't think offhand.
Oh my goodness,
A
Mike.
lot of them.
Detroit
The
Lions.
Lions. is
Yeah.
one.
They lead the pack.
Yeah.
There's several. There are several. So we might get into that later on.
Even our Panthers have gone twice, right?
Your Panthers might have.
Detroit,
My Panthers don't exist.
Cleveland, Houston, Jacksonville.
Just
Never,
4
never
now?
been.
It's the
Just
4.
4 now. Which one of those will go first?
What are the 4 again? Houston, Jackson.
Detroit.
I'd say
Houston,
Detroit as right now,
Cleveland.
Right now, I'd say Detroit.
but Houston has a good chance.
Yeah, I'm going to go
too.
with Houston.
Yeah, Houston has a good chance.
Got a good
Also.
quarterback franchise.
Cleveland, they might not go in our lifetime.
No.
Neither is Jacksonville, maybe. Jacksonville came in the same year as Charlotte.
That's Charlotte.
They did.
Hasn't.
And they had some really quick success with
Left-handed quarterback, Mark Brunell.
and coach was Tom McLaughlin, right?
I think so.
Mhm.
Yep, I think so. The former Giants.
Mm-hmm.
2-time Super Bowl winner
That's right.
with the
Yeah.
Giants. Yeah.
Did he win them both?
Yeah.
You
Now, wait a
may be
minute.
right there, Brad.
Parcells win one of them.
Parcells,
Well, Parcells
won
did, but
2. He won 2 in his day, I think.
Parcells won one, so that's.
I said Parcells won 2, didn't he?
yeah, but he didn't
They've
win
won
with,
4.
Parcells didn't win with Eli Manning. Did Tom Coughlin win both with Eli Manning?
I can't think of another
believe
coach
so.
it would have been.
Yeah, it was.
That's a good question, though. Good trivia question. I got a really good trivia question because we're getting ready. Who wants to do the lyrics first? Mike, pull yours up because I've got something else I'm going to ask.
Well,
so you have time to pull yours up.
Okay.
You ready, Mike?
I told you mine are always
I
ready.
know, I know, but I'm gonna let him do his first today because I've got another trivia question that I just ran across this week.
Okay, guys.
Wait a minute.
All right.
I want to give them the sports trivia first. I
Go
want
ahead.
your lyrics to be fresh on their mind because everybody's going to know this sports question, okay? Who was featured? And if you look it up, it's no fun. It takes the fun out of it. If you want to be the one to call in and get it right and you look it up, whatever. But try and think of this. Who was featured on the first issue of Sports Illustrated on the photo on the cover? Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. I usually stay in the 70s and 60s, but I'm going a little bit later.
Is that the lyrics?
Nope. She said it's cold outside, and she hands me my raincoat.
There you have it. We'll be back here in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Make 2025 the year you move into your new home from Key Builders of Lincoln. Let Key Builders help you make your dream home a reality and do it this year. Visit them online at keybuildersnc.com and check out their photo galleries. They are a licensed general contractor with over 20 years of building history and experience. Make 2025 the year of your new home. See your dream come true at Key Builders, 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Reinheit's Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Reinheit's Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westindsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
All right, welcome back. Glad to have you with us. Got some folks weighing in. Mike?
Yep.
Give us your lyrics again there.
She said, it's cold outside, and she hands me my raincoat. She's always worried about things like that.
I'm going to throw a wild guess out there, okay? And I'm probably wrong. Mrs. Jones? Nope.
No, but
Right era.
decade, right
Yeah.
era. Right era.
Yep. Nobody's gotten it.
I knew it would be a challenge, except
Yeah.
for Brett. He's kind of a 90s guy.
And what's the group? I can't even think of the group I was naming there with that.
Counting Crows.
Counting
Crows.
Crows.
Yeah, I really like there.
As opposed to the Black Crows.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. A lot of crows.
Crows.
Let's see. Rodney says first World Series cover, Dodgers, Yankees, question mark, question mark. No.
Oh.
No. Rich, I love what Richard said here. The first, he's talking about the photo that I'm asking on the trivia. The first one was a baseball scene, like a batter and catcher and umpire, and that is exactly correct. And he said, I saw it in a memorabilia store in Las Vegas
Wow. Okay.
one time. That's how I remember. Yep, that is also correct. Nobody's got the lyrics. We're going to let Brett tell what the lyrics, or his guess is for Mike's lyrics.
That's 3 a.m. by Matchbox 20.
Yeah.
3
Yep, I
a.m.
should've
I,
got
must
that.
be lonely. Yep,
Yep.
that's right. Matchbox 20.
Yep. Rob Thomas, right?
Mhm.
Is the,
Great voice.
Yep. Richard
Great
said,
voice,
sent
not
it
a
as
good
well.
voice.
Richard says Mike's song is 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep, I should have got that. That's if I'd have had plenty of time to think, it might have come to me because I did know the words. I just
What
couldn't
was
place
the other
it.
big hit by Matchbox 20, Brett? I'm trying to think.
Their first song was called "Push." That was their
Yeah,
that was their
Push You
first
Around.
hit. Yeah.
But then they had one after 3 a.m. I can't even remember the name of it.
Oh, they stayed.
Real World.
Yeah, that was one. They stayed relevant for a while.
Yeah.
And then he went solo, right?
Yeah.
Is he still still?
I have no idea.
Probably still out there, if I had to guess. Still out there.
They
As
got
far
a
as I know,
shout
he's
out on
still alive.
Facebook. Harold Warren is watching. Former West Lincoln football coach and athletic director.
How about that? Good
Good
morning.
morning, Harold. Ned Yates, Kevin Mooney, Link Pauley as well.
Well, we haven't answered our first trivia question yet, but Butch says, do you know where Sports Illustrated was first created?
Where?
Maybe a tie to North Carolina? I don't know.
I have no idea what year it started.
50s.
Oh,
It
okay.
was in the 50s. I can tell you that much.
Where it was created.
Yeah.
Because I was
You
going
mean
to
like
guess.
city, location.
I was going to guess like Roberto Clemente or
Say Hey Kid.
Pete
making his
Rose
great
or-
catches.
yeah.
A little
Willie Mays.
further back. A little further
Joe,
back.
Is it Joe DiMaggio?
No.
Jolton Joe.
No.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna tell you that the guy, Lenny, I'm gonna tell you right now, he's left-handed. He's hitting from the left side.
Left side. I was thinking it was left, but that's the reason I asked you that.
He spent several years in Atlanta, and that's why I'm asking. That's what made me think of it and bring it up, because as far as I know, I'm telling my age, I'm pretty sure I saw this guy play in person in Old Fulton County Stadium many years ago. I knew I had cards of him and stuff like that. My dad took me from the time I was 2 years old to see baseball.
Eddie Matthews.
You got it.
Eddie Matthews.
Eddie Matthews is the one featured in the photo, and I'll share it with you guys real quick to show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Brett, there's your photo, and we will put it right here for the folks to see that are watching this morning.
Oh, it's zoomed out a lot more than I was expecting.
It's way zoomed out. So it says the first issue of Sports Illustrated showing Milwaukee Braves star Eddie Matthews at the bat against the New York Giants at the time. The catcher was,
Giants.
if you got the catcher, then you win a new car. And you're lying. Wes Westrum.
Roy Campanella.
I just told you.
Weston. Okay.
Wes Westrum. Yeah. Wonder how you got the nickname Wes. Let's see. And if you can get the
Campanella's
umpire,
Dodgers.
and I honestly believe, I hate to say this, I think I've heard of this
Augie
umpire.
Donatello.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
I was going to go with Angel Hernandez.
Augie Donatello is the
Augie.
Yeah. Augie Donatello. Wasn't Donatello a Ninja Turtle?
Yeah.
Wasn't Augie Donatello? He's kind of the puffy-cheeked, almost bulldogish looking.
Yeah.
That you,
I remember
that you
the
see
name.
in all these movies
I
too.
remember
like
the name.
in the
So he
National
must have made it to the 70s umpiring games, because I remember that name. So that is amazing, though. I never knew. I don't think I'd ever heard or seen. I never really gave it any thought what the first Sports Illustrated feature was. And like Brett said, it is so zoomed out. It's showing as much of the stadium as possible. The players and the umpire are real small
And that's
in the
looks
photo.
Like on there, that's a,
Was that before the
that's a
invention of the
real
telephoto
picture, but I told
lens?
you earlier, it almost looked like it was sketched. The
Yeah, I know
picture,
it.
but
First
I believe that's a real
issue,
picture.
Sports Illustrated is written in just a plain old font there.
Wes Westrum replaced Casey Stengel
Stengel.
Yeah.
as the
Casey
Mets manager in
Rodney Casey
1965.
struck out.
He was the Mets' second manager.
Yep. The Mets started in what year, Lenny?
62,
Was it 62?
I think.
But there was a year that the Mets, the Jets, and the Nets, did they not all win titles in 69?
You're probably right, because the Mets and the Jets did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'd have to be.
And maybe the Nets didn't.
Nets
but
were,
I
well, they
always
might
thought
have won
said-
an ABA title.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I thought there was a year that they all three won, the Mets, Jets, and Nets.
Whence will their come another sweep by New York teams.
Never.
Yeah.
Now I think they'll win some titles here and there, but
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever see the sweep again, especially with the three that rhyme. Somebody was pretty smart though by
It says
naming
that
those teams that way.
the Nets won ABA titles in 74 and 76.
Wouldn't have been them, man.
So maybe the Knicks won it that year.
When did
It may not even been the Knicks. You know, I'm just
You know,
always.
when was that when Willis Reed
Yeah, what was
limped
the
onto
heyday
the
of the-
floor? That was in the
They
60s.
they won
60s,
some
I
in
think.
the 70s, I know, but they won in 70 and 73. The Knicks did.
Yeah.
Maybe
Walt,
it's just the Jets.
Walt Frazier.
Maybe it's just the Jets and the Mets.
Butch says Sports Illustrated was created at Myrtle Beach at
Yeah.
Pine Lakes Country Club
Ooh,
by a group of Time magazine execs.
okay.
Lots of great stories about the club. I have played it, and it brought it to its knees. It's still there. So,
Mhm.
how about that? The
They were just out on a weekend golfing thing and created.
Pine Lakes Country Club.
Yeah.
I've heard of that for sure.
Too.
Let's see. Ned says Campanella was a Dodger.
I know he was.
Not a Giant.
I know. I realized that after I said that.
Giant and Dodgers moved in 1958,
58.
if I remember correct. I know the guys in this room can know the answer to this. I want to see if anybody else knows the answer. What was the full name of the New York team that moved to L.A.?
I just had this conversation with Sullivan yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the full name of the baseball team that moved from New York to L.A.? You know that, Mike?
Brooklyn Dodgers.
The full name.
Oh, full name.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Lenny? Tell them, Brett.
The Trolley Dodgers.
The Trolley Dodgers.
Trolley Dodgers.
Trolley Dodgers.
Yep. Because of all the trolleys
Yeah.
in New York, they were dodging them. So they
Yeah.
kept the name. They shortened it to just Dodgers.
Okay.
Trolley Dodgers.
But yes, they were
Did
the
not know
Trolley
that.
Dodgers.
But-
Trolley Dodgers.
It looks like they were only that for a couple years.
Mhm.
There were the Brooklyn Grays, then the Atlantics, then the Grays, then the Bridegrooms, Bridegrooms, Superbas, Trolley Dodgers, Robins, Dodgers.
Mm.
They've been the Dodgers since 1932.
Mm. What other teams you know of that had longer names than they do today? And one that comes to my mind is the Cincinnati
Yeah, I
Redlegs.
know. Cincinnati
I think the
Redlegs.
Boston Red Stockings.
Red Stockings.
The Knickerbockers.
How about Chicago? Did they have a long
New
that-
York NBA, New York Knickerbockers.
Yeah.
They're the Knicks
Knickerbockers.
now. What'd you say, Mike?
How about Chicago White Sox? Were they ever?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that some of the names have been tweaked and,
Right.
and changed throughout the years.
Oh, yeah, a ton of the baseball
I
teams have
remember
changed
way back
names.
when it was the Cleveland Indians.
I know.
They were the White Stockings at one time.
Were they?
White
Just
Sox.
like Boston was
were
the Red
White.
Stockings. So,
They started as the Sioux City Cornhuskers.
All right.
but I
Sioux
wonder why
City
the Reds
Cornhuskers.
were the Red Legs for some. I've seen, I had stuff, I mean, stickers or whatever, back in the day that said Red Legs.
Red Legs.
Cincinnati Red Legs. I mean, I hadn't been that long.
They
that far
started as the Red Stockings.
Did they? Yeah.
They were the Red Legs from 53 to 58.
Okay, so I don't actually remember them being the Red Legs. I just remember them using the term.
Maybe people with sunburn were offended and they had to
Yeah.
drop the legs.
I'm guessing it was just because they were the Reds and their legs looked red because of the socks.
Yeah.
Socks.
Socks, I
Yeah.
would say.
Knee socks, whatever.
I can't think of any football
and
teams
back
that
in
have
those
gone
days,
through
they'd
that.
roll up their pants legs so the socks showed.
That's right.
Other nicknames, Big Red Machine.
Yes. Is that the only one?
For the Reds, yeah.
Now it's the tiny red broken down.
Swinging A's.
Has been for
Mustache
30
days.
years, hasn't it?
Yeah. They had a pretty good year last year, didn't they? Didn't they play well last year? And the shortstop he came on the scene and he made it interesting.
What'd they
anyway.
win? 80 games?
I don't know. I don't even know if they won 80. But I mean, you can win 80 these days and be in the playoff hunt, can't you?
Yeah. Well, a lot of these procrastinators were saying first year they were going to win the division, and they still may. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because
a weak
because
division.
they were a little better. I mean, they were decent last year, and they felt like that. What's the new manager? Red Sox.
Steve K's going to be calling you out, Brett. The new manager,
Yeah, the Red Sox. What's his name?
the Red Sox or
Yeah,
the Reds?
they used to when they won a couple of World Series. He's the new manager.
Oh yeah. I really like him.
Alex Cora?
No.
Francona?
Yes,
Francona.
Yeah.
Oh, he's with the Reds?
He's the new
Yes.
manager. Yeah.
Yeah, he got hired
He come out
last
of
year in the off
retirement.
season.
Didn't know that.
Sure did. Yep, and he'll be good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's a good manager.
And I think that's why some of them were picking him to win that division, because it was kind of wide open, and thought he would make the deal. And he may. I mean, we're still just 15 games in. You know?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
If
Still
you was
15.
if you was in certain divisions, you'd probably be out of it, but you're probably not out in that.
Well, you
one.
know what? Okay, let's talk about that a little bit, because the teams we expected to be running away just right off the bat are not. I mean, let's face it. I mean, I expected the Yankees to have a 10-game lead after 5 games, but it's not working out quite so well. Toronto leads the American League East. They're 8-6. Then the Yankees at 7-6. The Red Sox are 7-8. Tampa Bay 6-7. Baltimore to me is the biggest disappointment so far at 5-8. Now there's still plenty of time, but did they win the division last year or finish second? They were up there, right?
Yeah, they
made the playoffs.
I can't remember if they won. I know they won the division 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they won it last year or the Yankees, but they made the playoffs.
And I know one of their big hitters has been out. I don't know if he's back yet or not.
now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's been back.
What was his name?
I think Henderson, Gunnar Henderson. I think their biggest, the thing they've been singling
Yankees
him out
won
on
the
is
division last
pitching.
year.
That they didn't go out and do enough,
Didn't add.
and didn't. In fact, lost. You know, Burns left and went to Arizona. Didn't re-sign him.
Baltimore was 91-71 last year. They finished 3 games out.
Okay, Yankees won the division.
Baltimore was a wild card.
I got accused last Saturday morning of giving the kiss of death by a person that everybody in here knows. So I'm going to do it to the Detroit Tigers now. This is a dark horse to me to win the American League. This team's pretty sharp. They lost their first 3 games. They lost to the Dodgers. Since they went 0-3, this team is 8-2, and they either swept or won 2 out of 3 against the Yankees.
2 or 3, I believe.
I watched one of those games in the snow.
I believe the Yankees won the last.
I think they
one,
did too, like maybe 2-0 or something.
Yeah.
Detroit's pretty good though. Detroit, I thought they make the playoffs last year.
They did.
Yeah,
They did.
in the playoffs, I think they maybe stepped that up a little and could be a dark horse to make
They
it.
did, and then the Yankees end up defeating them. They won a series, maybe 2, but I know they won the opening series, Detroit, and I believe the Yankees is who.
I'm calling you out, Tripper, because you called me out during the week saying I gave him the kiss of death last week. So.
You gave who? Duke?
Yeah, I don't remember what I said though. I guess I picked Duke to win it, and that happens. I can tell you that right now. Detroit, Cleveland, Kansas City, they're just a game back basically in the loss column. Minnesota's 4-10. The White Sox are off to a tremendous start after last year. They're 3-10. They did not win 3 out of every 10 last year, did they?
They finished 41-121.
Do that math real quick and see if 3 of 10 is just right on.
It's lower. It's lower. They won 25% of their games.
Ooh. Okay.
They're 253 to be exact on the win percentage.
253, and right now they're lower than that because they only won 3 of 13. All I know is they crushed our Red Sox last night, Lenny. Yep. If you've got a problem and you're ailing and you're not scoring, just invite Boston to come in. We'll help you out. The Texas Rangers are 9-5, and I'm guessing, yes, that is the best record right now in the American League, 9-5, followed by the Angels at 8-5, Astros 6-7, Seattle 6-8, and the A's, the Sacramento A's. Did you watch any of the game last night? Either one of you? Anybody that was in Sacramento?
No.
I did.
Minor League Park.
I did. Yeah. See, well, the Tampa Rays are playing in a minor league park
That's
that
right.
belongs to the Yankees, and your A's are playing in Sacramento. I didn't realize it was just a short 2-hour ride from Oakland to Sacramento.
Yeah,
It's a
something
little bit north and,
Yeah.
and a little more inland.
A little more inland east, yeah.
But that's not their permanent home, though.
Nope.
Their permanent home is set to be Las Vegas right now. But have they started construction on that stadium or not? Vegas has been kind of hard to deal with, hasn't it, over baseball, if I'm not mistaken.
They imploded the buildings on that land, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the stadium construction has started.
They might have just needed an excuse to do that.
It could get out, but something else could go there,
It says construction to begin this summer.
Yes, Ned, we just mentioned that. Tampa played at Steinbrenner Field versus the Braves last night. I have actually been to that stadium and seen it. It's a rock's throw from the
It
Tampa
says
Bay football stadium.
To be built on the site of the former Tropicana, Las Vegas.
I think they
And
imploded
that is
it.
right in the middle of the Strip.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty cool
That would.
location.
That would. And you know what? I know at one time Vegas, about 5 years ago, it was the fastest growing city in the United States for residents, So, but still, don't you think that most people, I mean, okay, if you're a tourist and you're going to Vegas, would you go to a game?
I would, but a lot of people aren't.
Between
a
all
lot
the
of people
gambling?
aren't going to, but
And shows and everything else.
Yeah.
I would just because it's a brand new stadium.
You got to sleep
Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. I think, though, more likely to happen is to go to the Raiders game because there's only 8 a year.
Yeah,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
But that's
That
a
would be something, yeah.
more expensive ticket.
A more expensive ticket. Yeah, it is. But yeah, I wonder what the average ticket cost is in Vegas for a Raiders game. I mean, it's not because I'm Rodney. I hate to say it this way. I want them to get good, but it's not because they're really good right now. It's just because you're in Vegas, and I would imagine that some of the L.A. Raider fans make the trip too. What is it? 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours, Vegas to L.A. to Vegas.
Yeah, about 4.
Yeah.
This says this is from 2 seasons ago. The average ticket was $168 to a Raiders game.
Yep.
What's the average ticket cost in Charlotte? I think they're the lowest. I think the Panthers have the lowest
It
ticket
says
prices.
in 2023, the Raiders had the highest average ticket in the NFL.
Yeah, I could see that. How about that? They need to turn some of that into players, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And they have. I think they've started doing some better things since they've hired Pete Carroll. And who's the offensive coordinator?
Panthers average ticket price $115.
$115.
So
they're probably all within that
about
range.
$55 cheaper.
Yeah. A couple things to read here. Let's see. Campanella was a Dodger, not a Giant. Yeah, I already said that. Sorry, Mike. I didn't bring that one up again.
Bring up my era again.
Yep. Let's see. Ned also says the Reds do have nice, unique number and letter font, except those black city costumes they wear.
All of them are ugly.
He says they're brutal, like this Tampa Bay Rays costume.
Yeah,
When I first saw the Tampa Bay Rays uniform, I thought Seattle Seahawks
yeah.
in baseball because it's blue and green.
It does, doesn't it?
It's got the lime green.
The all one
exactly
color
what
in
you think
baseball
of.
just doesn't look right. If it's not white or gray,
I agree.
the like black pants and black top,
Yeah.
that doesn't look right at all
No.
in baseball.
Rodney's looking angry. Gives me an angry face here this morning. Yes, I think they're on their way up, Rodney. They're in one of the toughest divisions in football, though, with Kansas City, Denver, and the Chargers. But I do think they're on their way up. I think they'll. One of the biggest moves they made all year was signing the defensive end, Mad Max, to the big contract. Big contract. Jason, I'm gonna have to read that one during the break, buddy. That's a novel. And maybe short. He asked me how I heard about something, but I'll get to that during the break.
Let's now get to the NL standings because I want to brag on my
your
team.
Giants are dynamite, Mike. We'll just start in the West. They're dynamite, but they're still in second place.
I know.
The Padres.
It's a tough division.
Yes, it is. 3 teams with 10 or more wins.
But I just can't believe 10-3. They're probably going to falter, but not a bad start anyway.
Yeah. Padres are 11-3. Giants 10-3. The Dodgers 11-4. Diamondbacks 7-7, and the poor old Rockies down there at 3-10. The Milwaukee Brewers 8-6. The Cubs are 9-7. Cardinals 6-7. Cincinnati 6-8. Pittsburgh 5-9. The Mets lead the East. That's going to be a good race all year too, I think. The Mets 9-4. The Phillies 8-5. Washington 6-7. Miami 6-7, and the Braves 3-10. A slow start, but starting to come around a little bit, I think. Now,
the NL West has a combined 42 wins right now.
42.
Yeah.
The next highest total for a division is 34.
Yeah, you got 4 teams in that division that could all be in the playoffs. They probably won't because they're going to some of them beat up on each because they play more against their division, don't they? But any of them 4 could easily be in the playoffs.
I agree. You got a surprise so far? Either way, my surprise so far on the negative side is the Braves. I did not expect that kind of start out of the Atlanta Braves. 3-10.
And I'd say the Angels on the positive side.
That's true.
8-5.
Yeah, they were. They weren't given much of a chance. That's for sure. They weren't given much of a chance, and it may change. Have they changed anything other than personnel? Have they changed managers? Have they changed ownership? Have they done anything like that would?
No idea.
The biggest question, and I don't even know. I'll let you guys tell me. Is Mike Trout healthy?
Yeah, he is right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that makes a difference.
He's only hitting 208, but he's hit 6 home runs.
And that's a superstar these days.
Yeah.
208.
And they showed one day this week they had 3 guys hit 2 home runs in the same game.
Yeah, one of them hit 2 in 1 inning.
In 1 inning, yeah. They told how long it had been that had happened that 3 players had hit 2 in the same game. I forget how far back.
And that was the Angels?
Angels.
Can you name them?
Well,
because I can't.
Trout was one of them.
Okay. That'd be the only one I would guess.
The other one of them was Joe Adele.
Okay.
Who is a Shelby-born guy. I didn't know that.
Really?
But I don't think he lived there. I mean, I think he born in Shelby, but moved.
Need the good move got out.
And I can't remember who the other one was.
Taylor Ward was the other one.
Taylor Ward. Yeah.
Braves the only team in the NL that hasn't won on the road.
They have not won a road game yet.
Yeah.
I still think they'll become a factor in there. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, there's enough talent on that team to at least get into the division race. Now, if they only win 3 of their next 13, I'll change my mind. You know, can't do that.
It'd be 6-20 start.
That'd be hard to overcome.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, it looks like Joe Adele played high school baseball in Louisville, Kentucky, but does say he was born in Shelby.
I don't know where I heard that. Just some kind of off the wall. When I seen it, I thought, I never heard of that. And then I looked it up and said Shelby.
I will say this before we go to our next time out. Have the torpedo bats disappeared? And I don't mean literally, because they've not, but it seems like all the hitting that they were creating there for a little while has slowed down some, right? And the Yankees are not the only team using these bats. I think they have more guys using them on their team, but obviously Judge does not use one. But I think that it's the other teams the other guys that are using them, I just hadn't heard as much here lately. Who's been the hottest hitter during the past week? Do you guys know?
I don't know, Dave, but you might have heard this. Blew my mind the other day. They told that that was as of Thursday. Now, I don't know how he did last night, but said Devers had more hits in the American League in the month of April than anybody in the major leagues. You believe that? But then I got to think a little bit. The season started in March.
Yeah. Well, he was 0 for 19.
Yeah.
But then he got hot.
Yeah,
he got.
But that was as of Thursday, and he got hit Thursday. So as of Thursday, he had more hits than anybody in Major League for that month, 15.
Well,
but I don't know what happened yesterday.
Still a lot of days left in April. So we'll see how he progresses the rest of the way. All right, Lenny, I'm getting ready to give my lyrics here.
Hey.
Matchbox 20 was Brett's.
Nope.
I mean Mike's.
3 a.m. Yep.
3 a.m. was Mike's. Brett, we're going to let Brett do his last today. Mine are going to be, let's see where I want. I can't begin. The title was the first, so I'm going to give you the first lyrics that aren't the title. Cruise into a bar on the shore. Cruise into a bar on the shore. Got that? We'll be back in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Make 2025 the year you move into your new home from Key Builders of Lincoln. Let Key Builders help you make your dream home a reality and do it this year. Visit them online at keybuildersnc.com and check out their photo galleries. They are a licensed general contractor with over 20 years of building history and experience. Make 2025 the year of your new home. See your dream come true at Key Builders, 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us this morning. Let's see. Ned says, don't know David's trivia
No.
without cheating. Should have known. That's what he says. So after he looked at it, he says, I should have known. Yeah.
Okay.
Butch has it. I expected Butch to get this one. There's a joke in there. There's a joke in there. I'm kidding, Butch. I can promise you. Butch does not fall into the category, does he, Brett?
No.
That ought to help you there, Mike. It's got a category to it.
Category.
Yeah.
I mean, you mean?
You know, I'm going to read them to you again.
Okay.
Cruise into a bar on the shore. Her picture graced the grime on the floor. On the door, on the door.
Oh.
She's a long-lost love at first bite. Baby, maybe you're wrong, but you know it's all right. And there you go. There you go. It's a great song. And what year would you say that thing came out, Brett?
87.
87.
Wow.
You
must already looked at
Already looked.
Already looked at it. We'll see if we get any more. Butch does have it correct.
87.
We'll wait about a minute here.
And my lyrics were going to be from the same band, but
It is.
mine was
It is
from
80,
93.
It is 87, Mike. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you this: it is a classic rock band,
Yeah.
right, Brett? I mean, you don't get many much
Yeah,
more
no,
classic
they've been
rock.
around. They were around much
Yeah.
further back
Yeah.
than 87.
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith's who I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that is correct. And that hint was saying Butch does not fit the mold. That ought to give you the name of the title. Lenny's got it. I hear him back here humming it. That would be Dude Looks Like a Lady.
Yep. Dude looks like a lady.
That's really good. The funniest thing I ever.
When you said 87, but classic rock, I like you. Aerosmith came to mind.
Yeah.
The funniest thing I heard was 8-year-old Sullivan singing the lyrics. Dude looks like a lady. I could not hold back from laughing. I thought that was great.
Would be funny.
It was. It was really funny. Who's your baseball team? Got one? It's going all the way. Mike, can your Giants make the World Series? You had to bet the house, yes or no.
No, I don't think so. It's not getting it paid off. I don't want to.
We'll ask Brett the same question. Can your Dodgers make it to the World Series? Would you bet on them, yes or no?
I wouldn't bet anything, but I think they can.
I'd say yes, but I wouldn't bet the house.
Yeah, right. Just last week I said, would you take the Dodgers and Yankees or the field? And I would have took Dodgers and Yankees a week ago, but now I wouldn't. Now I would not. Thank goodness I don't make a bet like that when it's time. They still could be your World Series, and if I had to just sit here and name you two teams I thought would be in it, it might be them two.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't take it as far as a bet goes, because it looks to be a little more even than I expected baseball to be. Now, what I really feel sad about in baseball, I don't feel that bad for the last place Orioles. I think they'll move up. I think they're going to climb up. But I do feel bad for the 4-10 Twins, the 3-10 White Sox, except for last night. I don't feel too bad for them. I do feel bad for the A's, who do have 5 wins so far in 14 games.
And I think they're in not really a good division for them, but their team is building.
Yeah.
They're building to when they move on to New Orleans. They could be very good with some revenue, maybe.
When I look at the National League East, I don't even think there's a team in the National League East that hurts for money. I mean, the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Marlins, and the Braves, I think they're all okay when it comes to financial status. Maybe the Marlins might be the lowest because of not many fans showing up for the ballpark. The Braves have the money, and I don't think it's personnel for the Braves right now. I just think they need to get it together, and they'll start playing better. Maybe
they're missing some pieces, and but they've got pieces in play. They need to play well enough until those pieces get back. They're better than 3-10 even without Acuna and Strider. I mean,
right. I agree. I mean, that's. I'm trying to look here and see what one of
the Mets have
run
allowed.
differentials. Not
The Mets
that bad.
have allowed 38 runs this year.
Is that the
in 13 games? That's less than 3 runs a game.
Yeah.
The Mets are giving.
Is that
up.
the league
yeah,
low?
That's it.
Wow. And how many pitchers? How many starting pitchers can you name for the Mets?
Senga. The Japanese pitcher.
Tom Seaver.
And didn't the guy from didn't the relief pitcher from the Yankees, didn't they make him into a starter? Holmes?
Yeah. Clay Holmes is a starter. Griffin Canning.
Yeah, that one don't.
Tyler McGill. And David Peterson. That's their 5 starters so far.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
they're not big names
impressive.
like they once had with DeGrom and Syndergaard and Harvey. You know, they used to.
You know, I'm just amazed. I hadn't even thought about this before, but the West is got big market teams: San Diego, San Francisco, L.A., even Arizona. Which city are they in? Do they play in Phoenix or are they?
I think it's in Phoenix.
Phoenix, yeah.
Okay, pretty big market. Colorado, Denver, mid-sized market. But you look at the Central: Milwaukee, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, all small markets. Only the Cubs really in a big market in that division. But I will say this, though. Milwaukee finds a way to be near the top every single year. They find a way to be near the top. I don't know if it's, great GM, great managing, probably a combination of everything. But they do find a way to be in the mix. Now, last time they've been in the World Series, I don't know, 20 years?
Probably longer than that.
Maybe longer.
I know.
Who's that?
Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while. But
Paul Molitor,
Yeah.
Robin Yount. Is that the last
it
time?
may be.
Playing.
It may be.
Yeah, that was more like 40 years ago.
Yeah, I'm just thinking I'm like you, more like at least more than 30.
Yeah. Let's get in. Let's switch gears here a little bit.
Before we get off college basketball,
Mike, when have we been on college
I was
basketball?
going to say, because you're going to move on.
I know I am. I'm moving to college basketball.
Okay, I'll just hold mine for later then.
Okay.
I was hoping we wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just go ahead
It's
and say
over.
it. One of Duke's biggest collapses cost them dearly.
Yep.
On Monday night. Not Monday night. They didn't get to Monday night. On Saturday night. And then we saw the same thing happen to Houston.
Mm-hmm. Last play.
I had Florida in my bracket. Mike, I think, had Florida in his bracket to win it. I didn't think it would be that way, though. I didn't think that would be the way they would win it. I thought they would just be – in the Houston game, I thought they'd probably get out in front. They only led less than a minute of time, like 54 seconds is all they led in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never guessed that. I would have thought they would have just maintained.
The Florida way for them all the way through the
They
tournament.
did. They did. Yeah, they got behind a lot of games.
Tech against Texas Tech, yeah.
Yep. So, tell me
He
about
had close games throughout. UConn was close.
Brett said he thought that loss for Duke was one of the most painful for him. And, and then going back, I said, well, what's the other one? And he said losing to UConn.
In 99.
Yeah, in 99.
With probably the best team Duke's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know, 01 was also great. But when you had people like Elton Brand, it was just –
Well, to me, the best team they ever had was in the early 90s.
Well, yeah.
You had 4-year guys.
91 and 92 were the
back-to-back.
best teams.
They played for the championship 3 times, right?
But
That
even
was
in
their best
92, it took a miracle shot just to get to the Final Four.
It did.
But they made it.
Yeah.
Made it.
You know, I mean, that's why I think they're the best. That was the best team they've ever had.
You're right as far as what, putting banners up, no question.
But, now every team you got is going to be 1 year and see you.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
that's part of why this loss bothered me more than 99. Because in 99, you didn't really know what – you had a really good shot the next year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the players that could come back, and you didn't expect a lot of players, which a lot of players did leave from that 99 team.
Right.
But this year, it's like, this is it. This was their one chance with this group of guys.
Moment, and they blew it. Yeah.
Yep.
And I told Mike earlier,
Final Four
2004 bothered me more than 99. 2004, they lost in the semifinal to UConn.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 10-point lead with 2 or 3 minutes left.
But the way this one happened, 59-45 with 8 minutes to go, what was the lead? 6 points with 50 seconds left, something like that.
That doesn't
Where was
bother
the
me as much
press
as knowing that
offense?
they were up by 12 or 14.
14 at one
14
point.
at one time. Yeah.
One quote that Shire had afterwards, he said, "We never thought we were going to blow out Houston, but why not? I mean, they had a 14-point lead. You've got to put
They should have
the
blown them
pedal
out.
to the metal."
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And it's so hard for kids to do that.
Yeah.
I told you after the game, I still felt like Duke was 15 points better than Houston.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if they would have beat Florida. It would have.
They would have been
it
more
would've
alike.
took a-
The two teams would have been
Right.
more
Yeah.
alike. So,
Right.
Yeah, been a whole different way to play.
That Duke Houston game was a lot like their game against Carolina. Was that in the last regular season or the tournament? I can't
Tournament
remember.
game where they were up
Yeah.
20 or
20,
more, and
24. Barely held on to win.
Monty
that was
said-
just because time ran out on Carolina. If there
I
would have been
know.
another minute, Carolina would have beat
Carolina
them.
won the game. Yeah.
I will say this. Monty says, how about Coach K's final game at Duke? And I will
Ooh.
say this about that.
Yeah, that's hard.
Absolutely not. That's not a tournament game.
No.
That's not, and those games mean way more
Is
to
he
Carolina
saying at
fans.
Duke as in at Cameron, or his final game with Duke where they lost in the Final Four to Carolina?
I'm thinking he's saying the final game. So maybe
Against
so.
Carolina in the Final Four.
But that didn't
in the
bother me
Final
as much
Four. No, I
because-
didn't feel like Duke was the best team
No,
that year.
they were
This
evenly
year I thought they were the
matched.
best
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And I don't know that I don't think Duke would have beat Kansas that year had they beat Carolina in
No.
that
Right.
Final Four
They
game.
wouldn't.
That Duke team just wasn't as good as this one.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that one
two teams
that
had
one
to
sucked
lose, and
because
it
they
was-
lost to Carolina. But
Yeah,
But
those
other
are
than
the
that,
game, like
yeah.
you said, that pain you because you feel like you were the better team. And, last week I sit there and said that, well, I was pulling Florida. I picked Florida in the polls, but I thought Duke had the best team.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
He said at Cameron or both.
well, definitely not the one at Cameron.
Nah,
I
regular
mean,
season game don't bother me at all.
and
As long as they're going to make the tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
that would only hurt for
The regular season is
20 minutes, and then
kind of
you're
a
over
waste.
it.
And with Duke, we even talked about this. They had no weakness. The only weakness they maybe had was they hadn't played enough close games, and
That
that's,
hurt
and
'em.
that's not their fault.
ACC let them
That's right.
down.
That's not their fault, but it is what it is,
That's right.
and it ultimately
Yeah.
they really needed some more of those
They did.
late Carolina games that
How do
Yeah,
you stop
and
a
that,
team's
and really
momentum?
that and the Clemson game where
Yeah.
they did lose in Carolina were probably the only real close games
Yeah,
that they had.
that's right.
yeah, they had one. I think the game at Wake Forest, they won by 1 or 2,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they had a close game with NC State.
Explain that.
But yeah, they had a run after Clemson beat them where they won like 15 or 16 in a row. Their only close game was Carolina, and that was only close
And
for
that
the
was-
last minute or
That's
two.
right. It was.
Yeah, that's
They
But
were
this,
hanging
but this
on.
game with Houston shouldn't have been close. I mean, that's
Yeah, I know it.
that was the problem.
Yeah.
They were up 14, and it felt like they were up 25. It felt like Houston had no chance because Houston wasn't scoring.
But they started hitting shots.
Well, and that's because
they
they
hit some
got
threes.
they got offensive rebounds,
Mhm.
which created second shots from 3, and they started nailing some of those.
To me, the only reason Houston won that game was age difference.
Yeah.
Men,
Probably about 3 years on
3
average
years.
older.
Me and Gordon.
Houston
Yeah.
one of the
Mhm.
oldest teams in the tournament.
Yep. Yep.
My God, Roberts, the center. This was his 6th year.
6th year.
Yeah, yeah. And Duke was loaded with first-year guys and had a couple mixed in that were,
And
veterans.
Cryer was
but,
a 5-year man.
but the guys that were mixed in as veterans didn't play the key roles. You know what I mean? I mean, they
Well, they didn't show up in that game either.
they weren't out there they weren't out there that much for their scoring.
You're
you know?
right.
Yeah.
They were role
They counted on the young guys to score.
Well, Duke's worst player in that game was Sion James, who was their oldest
Yeah.
player.
Oldest
Right.
player, yeah.
Right. Didn't score, right? Didn't get a rebound.
Now, he had 7 points in the but all in the second
Oh,
half.
I'm not thinking about
No.
I'm thinking about the big
Malawach is the
Yeah,
one that didn't get a
Malawach.
rebound.
He
Who's
didn't get a rebound.
over 7 feet, but no, he's a young guy.
Yeah.
Sion James is
Yeah, came from where?
Tulane.
Tulane.
Tulane, yeah.
Yeah.
But he
Graduate student.
just trying to get the ball in bounds at the end of the game. He just looked awful.
Well, they didn't have any kind of press offense. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Shire
that was
didn't have a good game
questionable.
either.
I thought Cooper Flagg should have been inbounding the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
Throw it into Malawatch. He's 7'2". I mean,
What do you guys think about this this play that's been? I think Florida maybe run it, and a couple other teams where it looks like a football set.
They're on all
And then-
5 right.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to get the ball in
Yeah.
bounds.
Yeah.
It seems to be working.
yeah.
And what Florida did with it, they made the defense think everybody was going to sprint down the floor,
Right.
and then one guy just barely stepped in
Right.
bounds,
Stepped
and
in
they left
bounds.
him open.
Right.
But
Yeah.
all the
Hard to
defense
defend.
was running down the floor.
Kind of hard to
Great
defend.
play.
Florida's coach did a great job.
Yeah, Todd Golden, only
and how old
40
is he?
years,
About
40 years old.
39.
39. He's-
39.
I thought he was 15.
Yeah, he looks like a player.
He does look young.
I thought he stood out as much as their guard Walter Clayton did.
Yeah,
And boy, he struggled against Houston.
Yeah,
but
I
he
mean-
got going late.
Yeah,
Did what
right.
he had to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he was the best player in the tournament.
yeah, he was.
I
No
thought,
doubt.
I guess he got the most outstanding.
Do you know where
Did
he
not?
transferred
Yeah, he did.
from?
Do I know where he transferred?
Iona.
I don't know.
Played for Patino.
He did.
Okay. Nope, I would have never got that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
By
He
the way,
was,
guys, here's your way too early top 25 for next year from the Athletic. I'll just run down the top 10. Purdue, number 1. Florida, number 2. So
well,
not much change.
Purdue will drop out of the top 10 after everybody gets their people they're recruiting.
Yeah. Houston, number 3. Louisville, number 4. ACC coming back, huh? Michigan, number 5. Got Elliott.
So you hadn't said
Purdue.
Duke or North Carolina yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's
BY
because they don't have their
Nobody
team
knows
set.
who
Yeah.
Nobody
Duke's
knows
going to
who's
have on the
coming
roster.
back.
That's why this
Yep.
it's a way too
BYU.
early top 25.
BYU, number 6. Michigan State, 7. Auburn, 8.
I will bet
UConn,
you.
9.
I will bet
Duke,
you
10.
right now in a preseason poll that comes out closer to the season, Duke and North Carolina will both be in the top 5.
Yeah, man, was our.
Top 5?
Top 5.
Yeah,
See where
I'd take
Carolina
that bet.
is.
Would you?
Yeah.
Why?
I would too.
I don't think either one of them will be in the top
I
I
don't
don't
5.
think they will either.
I don't
Lena?
either.
I think Duke will be top 10.
I think
Carolina,
Duke
I don't know
I
about.
think Duke will be higher than Carolina, but I don't see.
I
The
thought
Athletic
Carolina
has-
already had three transfers. Am I wrong
Well,
about
it's
that?
not like they were all Americans.
Okay.
Who has?
Carolina. I thought they had like 3 guys coming
Yeah, they
in.
got a guy
They
named
got-
Jonathan Powell.
They got one big time freshman coming in, and they got
Yeah.
2
Okay.
guards that are very good.
So,
but
so
no,
here you go. Monty says definitely North Carolina in the top 5.
The Athletic has them ranked 16.
I wouldn't have them in the top 5.
Now I don't know if he meant to put definitely not, but he put definitely North Carolina in the top 5.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait 6 months and see.
I can't tell you who they got, and all I know that Duke's got's the Boozer twins.
Yep.
That's all I know.
Well, yeah.
I like
We-
that. I'm glad they're coming, but
Well, they got a 6'7" wing,
Out of Texas, Henderson or something.
Shelton Henderson,
Shelton
and then Nick
Henderson.
Kaminia was an McDonald's All-American. And there was some reason that Shelton Henderson could not make the McDonald's All-American roster. I can't remember what it was,
Yeah.
but they would have 4 McDonald's All-Americans coming
Right.
in but that
Monty does change his to not. He meant to put not in there. He says, maybe so, but here's one thing, and you can't get away from this. Duke and Carolina live a lot of times on reputation.
That's right.
That's true.
So
And they
true.
get ranked a lot of times because of reputation,
Based
and there's
on
nothing wrong with that.
Based on
you know?
reputation.
So,
But
that's
Carolina
why
was-
I think they'll be there.
Carolina was, I mean, what got them in the tournament? They were like the 48th best team in the country. They lost their best player. R.J. Davis is gone. Are they going to bring in that much that puts them from 48 up to the top 5?
Their
I
best
guess so.
player transferred to Arizona,
Yeah, well, that's 3 years ago.
but he would have been their best player on their roster, I think. I mean, that's a scoring machine, and he's a little bit taller than R.J. Right?
He's taller
Yeah.
than RJ.
and that helps.
I
him
don't
get
get
his
why
shot
he's
off.
not projected a first-round
I
pick.
don't understand that.
Does he
either.
only play the way we saw him play against Duke? Is that the only time
Well,
he plays
he-
that way?
I think he is
He played
inconsistent.
better against Duke.
Yeah.
I still think I have no problem with him leaving. I don't think Carolina would have got where they need to get with him being there. Or the
With
roster
the-
was going to have to switch.
One
It's
of them
gonna
had to
be
go, right?
I
What you're
agree.
saying. One of them had to go.
And I always felt like he was the better pro prospect, but
Davis was a leader.
I would have taken
R.J.
Caleb.
Davis
Duke
was
would have
the
won the
leader.
title if they had Caleb Love on their team
Yeah,
this year.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
and you
Would Duke have
and
won?
you And I'm gonna say this. You said if it had him, and here was the story. And I've always heard this about Caleb Love, why he wanted to beat Duke. He wanted to go to Duke.
Really?
He
Yeah.
wanted to go to Duke. Carolina wanted Jeremy Roach. Duke wanted Jeremy Roach. Roach committed to Duke as a junior, so Carolina turned their attention to Love. And I always heard Love, so that was part of his. I'll show Duke that y'all should have
Yeah.
got me. That was
That was his,
Two former players had their chance to beat
Yeah.
Duke in Roach and Love, but Duke won both those
Well,
games, but they
here-
weren't by no means
Here's
easy.
a what if. What if Roach had not transferred to Baylor and still been on Duke's team? Might have helped him down the stretch in a game like Houston. Right?
Yeah, I just think there were chemistry issues
Must have
with
been.
Roach.
Must have been.
Or there were last year anyway. I don't know how he would have fit in with this team,
Right.
but they
And I
wouldn't have
think-
been. They would. I don't think they would have been as good with Roach.
And
Would
I
that
think
take
that
away
was-
some of Knippel's minutes?
That's a good.
I don't. I don't know.
There's
I like
more
their
enough
team.
minutes to
I
go
like their
around.
team better without him this year.
Yeah.
And I think that was the thing with Caleb. It wasn't the talent; it was the chemistry.
Yeah,
Was
Mm-hmm.
not. That's why.
Knippel will be a better pro
And
than Roach.
I guess
Roach
I'm
won't even
throwing
be
rocks
right
again.
in the NBA.
Hubert Davis could have put a lot of. He maybe could have molded Caleb the right way if he had done it, but I don't think he did. Whether it was lack of inexperience on Hubert's part, being a second-year coach at that point in time, but he let Caleb do whatever he wanted to, and he lost the team to me. And I'm not sure he's gained it back yet.
Well, North Carolina projects 3 new players to be part of the starting lineup.
3 what?
2 transfers and an incoming freshman.
Okay.
Yeah, the big guy from Arizona is definitely a starter
Yeah.
for them.
Duke projects 5 of those, right? I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know. Is there anybody that'll be back on the team?
I
that
would
can
guess
start?
Duke has 5 new starters.
Yeah.
Yep. Only one notable returnee for North Carolina, Vin Allen Lupin. He's a
And Trimble,
and Trimble.
Seth Trimble,
Trimble.
That's the key one.
and Drake Powell.
Drake Powell's
he's not
Undecided.
It's undecided with him. Correct.
Right. Right.
And like you say, what you're looking at, Mike, like you say, is the
Projected
way
start.
too early.
Way too early,
With,
yeah.
Yeah, you got to wait till these teams get whoever they're going to get.
yeah, that way
And
too
now,
early. They've been doing that for several years, and it
used to be you could go on
it-
high school commits.
That's
and,
right.
and rank them.
Mhm.
Now
Now-
you can't.
Now that's almost useless information
Mhm.
now.
Yep.
When you come out 2 days after the tournament.
Well, for Duke, you got to wait and see who leaves.
True.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then once those guys leave, then you have to see who they get in the portal.
You think they've already been in touch with people they would like to come if there's spot open?
I know they've
Got
talked
to.
to the guard from Princeton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like a 6'6" point guard.
Point guard.
I wish they would go after the point guard from Baylor who's entered the portal.
But he went to BYU, didn't he?
Has he?
Smith. Is that?
Oh no, Robert Wright is who I'm talking
Robert
about.
I wish they'd go after the freshman.
Robert Wright.
from Baylor.
I think he's scroll down to BYU.
Yeah, the freshman from Baylor. He's a
freshman,
top 5
Look
pick.
at number 6.
That freshman from Baylor was unreal.
I think
What was
look
his
at that
name?
number 6,
Edgecombe. PJ
You're
I
Edgecombe.
believe
Yeah.
I've
You're
seen.
higher than-
We'll get it right
Really
there.
good.
Where
Let me see here. I want to read a couple things before we take our final.
he's not
timeout.
showing in there
Not
yet.
showing in
He's
there
not
yet.
showing in there yet, Brett. So
Let's see. I didn't know David Schreier. That one's from Ned. I had something from Richard here I wanted to read real quick. He also got Dude Looks Like a Lady. He said, I needed more words for sure. Let's see. I had one here. I'm going to read Jason's in just a minute. Scott says, have you talked about the quarterback from the University of Tennessee skipping practice the day before the spring game trying to get more money? Haven't even heard about it, Scott. That's the first I've heard about that.
I scrolled by it earlier during our broadcast.
But that is
but haven't read anything in depth.
that's just today's world.
Yeah.
That's today's
Holding out
world.
for more money.
Yep. He'll get it or he'll be gone. My guess is he'll get it. It just may not be in Knoxville. I mean, it depends on how much they believe in the guy. But no, I have not talked about it. I have not heard that at this point. That is not. I'm not going to say that's strange because it's not. That's just the way of college athletics.
Yeah, it is.
This day and time.
Here's another thing, guys. Should college football add preseason games Deion Sanders tried to get a game up.
Yeah,
with
why won't they
Syracuse.
let them do that?
What's
And it's basically a scrimmage is what
just
they
it's like just make it the spring game,
Yeah,
right?
right. So you're playing against somebody else
Somebody
instead
other
of your
than
own.
your own.
Yeah,
player.
especially when you got games like Georgia and Clemson week 1.
Week
like
one.
Notre
Yeah.
Dame played Texas A&M last year week 1. You could use
A real team on
Yeah.
the other side, yeah.
It's
I
just
see
kind of
that.
emulate what the pros have done. I mean,
It would eliminate a lot of playing time though for
yeah,
when you're when you're
it's true.
inter squad, then it's everybody's playing.
When
you
you're
know,
trying to
but-
look at everybody.
Yeah.
yeah.
But-
That's true.
But yeah, you could still do that though. You just don't have to call it your spring game. I mean, you just go out to practice one day and you're playing each other, right? In a game. But I do like the fact. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Why are we stopping them from doing that? I don't see a thing wrong with it.
Well, yeah, and what's
Well,
the-
college basketball has exhibition.
They do it now.
Yeah,
I mean,
exhibition game.
for
Yep.
for years you couldn't play a Division 1. Now they do it closed practices or whatever. Why
Yeah.
not? Don't
Well, it wasn't in Shire's first season. He took his team down. They played Houston in a
Yeah.
scrimmage.
But losses don't hurt you near as bad in college basketball
No,
as they do
not at
in
all.
college football. I mean,
And I guess there's more of a chance of major injuries in college football in
there are.
a preseason game than in a basketball.
yeah, that's exactly what.
preseason.
If you get one of those, and somebody's going to say, "Why did we play that spring game?"
Yeah.
you know, I mean, but you have to look at
Because,
that side
they'll
too.
have in these spring games. They'll have no contact on the quarterback. You can't.
Okay, this is what Scott's talking about. This is what Jason has sent me. That's why I said I'm going to have to read this during the break. Jason said, have you heard about the Tennessee quarterback, Nico, whatever, Lamevola, something like that,
Yeah, I've
heard of the name, yeah.
having a holdout for spring ball
Yep.
due to wanting a NIL raise? I hate NIL, I hate portal, I hate all that stuff, but guess what? It's here to stay.
Yeah.
In
2
some
point-
form, it's here to stay.
Right.
To go on and read the rest of this, it says he signed an $8 million NIL deal coming out of high school,
Ooh-wee.
with the $8 million being paid over 4 years. See, this needs to be at that point a contract.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I
we're
mean,
talking
Yeah,
contracts.
it needs to be a contract, and at some point the NCAA needs to step in my opinion, and say if you sign that to play for that, you've got to play for that, or you're going to sit out. At least for that year.
So that'd be two
This is
million
for
a
4
year,
years.
basically,
Yeah,
right?
$8 million for 4 years, right? $2 million a year. Is that too little? To be the quarterback at Tennessee? Probably so. It
he
probably is
wants $4
too little
million a
money.
year.
Yeah, but he settled for that though. So why he's got to stick to it, in my opinion. Says, well, now his agent is trying to get him a raise, and threatening that Nico will enter the spring transfer portal
Ooh.
if he doesn't get it.
I don't see how you commit that kind of money to somebody when you don't know if they're even going to be good. They might not even be the best quarterback on the roster.
You better do every one of these year by year.
Yeah.
Year by year, because they'll up and leave you anyway, or they won't work out. You better just do 1 year contracts in college sports.
Yeah. And don't you think, guys, even probably players are negotiating with their agents or plotting their next move while they're still playing? We know that.
Oh, people are contacting them every day.
every day.
It says that Jason goes on to say that, let's see, the spring transfer pool doesn't get it. The quarterback NIL market was reset when Carson Beck signed for $4 million to transfer from Georgia to Miami for this upcoming season. Yeah,
Yep, that's right.
That's boy, you talking about ways to steal players now. You don't even have to. Eventually, high schools will not be recruited. Patino's already said, no, never again. As long as this is going on, never again will he go recruit a high school kid. It's all about the portal.
Yeah. It's the new reality.
What else do you do? What else do you do?
Well, and it's almost come. This sounds crazy, but instead of you going in the portal, just about everybody, just start the year, everybody's in the portal at the end of the year.
Mm.
That's literally what it's turned to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not who's staying, but just go in the portal right out of the gate. And
Mike has sent the same thing to me. What do you think about the Tennessee quarterback holding out more money, first college player to hold
like
out
free
practice
agents,
for
right?
more money? Who was the guy UNLV had a quarterback a year or two ago that just he held out.
It was this year, wasn't it?
It might have been.
It was this
during the
past year,
season.
yeah.
Yeah, he held out and never played again, did he? Didn't he
No,
move
he
on?
didn't. Not there.
Max says he has showed no interest. He's no-showed for practice the last 2 days, requesting over $4 million per game.
Yep.
This is Max saying, this just means that other schools offering him more money. LOL.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the bad thing is
once
the
a guy's signed, you should not be able.
The coaches
to
have no
tamper.
control.
Yeah,
over
they
this.
don't.
The coach
They
just
don't.
has to move on and go with his next quarterback.
That's right.
Scott says Insider Tennessee Volunteers reports the only place he could go was University of Southern Cal. That's why Jason's excited.
Yeah.
They would have the money and need for the quarterback. So I don't think that means the only place he could go. It just means the only place maybe
I like their
in
quarterback
consideration.
at Southern Cal.
Do you?
I thought he was pretty good.
They're going to have to be, and it's going to have to come soon. We got to take our final time out and get Brett's lyrics in here, but they're going to have to be some guidelines on this stuff because it's getting out of hand.
Now, aren't they going to?
Because there's nothing you can't do right now.
I thought they were going to, under
I
this
agree.
new revenue sharing agreement, they're going to cap the collective at $20 million. You can up to $20 million, but that's the cap. I don't know. Have you heard anything about that, Lenny?
I've just heard some brief mention to that.
Yeah. But how do you stop them from doing it? The NCAA.
If I'm an elite head coach in basketball or football, even baseball, we saw it happen in baseball this past year. I think we had a Texas A&M guy leave and go to Texas, or vice versa. One of the best players in the nation transferred in state, but to the other school. But if I'm a coach and I'm set and I feel okay, if this don't change within the next 12 months, I'm out. You'll never have your elite coaches again, I don't think, because they're sick of this.
They are. And it's if the NCAA or somebody governing body doesn't come in and put some guidelines in,
and right
then,
now they're
then
scared.
it's dead. They're scared.
They're
Yeah.
scared of
Well,
lawsuits.
scared of lawsuits, it's all about the courts.
Here's
And-
what I've heard. The only way it's going to have to go to Congress to make it happen.
Yeah.
But even then, you can still go sue.
Still go sue.
Yeah,
even
I mean,
then.
because there ought to be guidelines in there. And
Got to tell Butch, pod is no longer the worst word in the human language.
Pod.
It is portal
Portal.
and NIL. Portal and NIL are awful words to have. Let's take our final time out. Brett's got some lyrics for us.
You're going to change, Brett?
I'm going to guess
Yeah.
they're not
Not
I started
Aerosmith.
to say Ashbrook. They're not Aerosmith.
Ashbrook.
All right, one line, 1985.
All right.
Now here I am again in this mean old town.
We'll be back in a moment.
The Get Out and Ride sales event is underway at Full Throttle Power Sports in Lowell. Get up to $3,000 off select models of Yamaha side-by-sides. But that's not all. See the Suzuki King Quad with 0% financing for up to 36 months or $2,000 in customer cash back. And see the legendary Kawasaki Ninja bikes. And see the new Ninja Razor Pro lineup. All at Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com.
Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vale. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vale. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincolnton. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
Look who just flew into town. Wild Birds Unlimited has expanded their nature shop, the latest in beautiful Denver, North Carolina. You'll want to take the short drive from Lincolnton for all your seeds and feeders, hobby guides, gift cards, and more. Philip and Renee look forward to seeing you soon, and tell them that WLON sent you. Wild Birds Unlimited, now serving Lincoln and Catawba counties. Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Scooters Coffee, we like to think of ourselves as daymakers. A quick stop at Scooters can mean a fresh start to the morning, a midday break, or an afternoon reward to a long, busy day. Scooters Coffee has hot drinks, cold drinks, protein shakes, smoothies, and don't forget their great selection of food items. And Scooters reminds you to have an amazing day with a sticker on every item. Stop by 689 North Highway 16, Denver today. Scooters Coffee, serving smiles every day.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. A couple things here to mention. Let's see here. Somehow I got on the wrong page. We got several.
Don Revel said having a spring game with another team reduces injuries by half. And
Could.
That makes sense.
Could.
Because you only got 11 guys on the field instead of 22.
Do you think guys go all out in the inter squad?
But I was no. But I was thinking
that's the reason there might be more injuries. So.
An exhibition game in August, not the spring game.
Yeah.
Like a couple weeks before you play.
Yeah, I think Dion's the one that started this, right? He's the one that said we'd like to play. And who was the team?
Syracuse, I believe, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it was Syracuse. Mm-hmm.
But was it Colorado and Syracuse?
Yes, yes.
Colorado and Syracuse.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I want to read a couple things real quick. Jason asked me to announce that the Hesed House of Hope is having its annual fish fry and hot dog sale fundraiser today from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The fundraiser is being held in downtown Lincoln on Academy Street between First Methodist Church and Freedom Church. So there you go. Good day for fried fish. It's cool outside, and I like some fish when it's full outside. Also hot dogs as well if you're not a fish person. Let's see. Scott Cloninger says, and this is great. This is a perfect line. And the scary thing is, it's coming to high school sports.
Yep.
That is the truth. It's already here in a way, Brett, let's see. We got Ned, who knows your lyrics and the song. We've got Butch that says, yes, he's got the same thing. He even gives me the lead singer, which if you know the group, you probably know the lead singer. And let's see, another one here, Rodney Willis also with this correct song.
Read that again.
And the correct lyrics.
Now here I am again in this mean old town. And the second line has the title.
86. Huh?
No chance, Mike? Lenny?
Dire Straits.
Yep. So Far Away. Is that the title name? So Far Away? Yep. That's a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, about anything they do, I like.
And the lead singer is Mark
Knopfler.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Mark Knopfler.
Jason's talking about that. Could I put in a plug for something today, too?
Absolutely.
At Cedar Grove Lutheran tomorrow, they're having a Passion drive-through of the Passion.
Right.
from 3 to 5 tomorrow afternoon, Palm Sunday,
Okay.
at the church.
Cedar
Cedar Grove
Grove.
Lutheran, just off of
Highway
27.
27 west of here.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, did I read this correctly? And I'm gonna ask you real quick. Did I see that West Lincoln Cherryville won both games this week against West by 3-2 scores?
No, they just played them once Thursday
Just
night.
played once. Okay, it's on at Max Preps twice.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you
I
know,
thought that was odd that it happened.
Yeah.
Because the
twice.
first one was the first game, wasn't it? Like it was 10-3.
10-3.
Yeah.
That was the very first
Very
game.
first
of the
game.
First
of the
game of
year.
the year. Okay.
The game almost didn't happen. I mean, it was going to be at West Lincoln on Thursday. It was going to be Monday. Then they switched to Thursday. And then the rain canceled, but then they came up with the idea of playing it in Cherryville on the turf field. So they played it Thursday evening. Good game. Cherryville was a visiting team. They scored 2 in the top of the seventh to go ahead 3-1. And then West Lincoln came back, scored a run, had the bases loaded in the bottom of the seventh. But one of the Cherryville's relievers got the final out on the strikeout to end the game, 3-2. Yeah, good ball game.
You know, here the weirdness in the high school schedules this year
It is crazy.
is getting ready to come. No, you don't know anything
I
yet.
know.
It's coming starting this week.
Yeah.
We have 3 different spring breaks.
3 different spring breaks. That's crazy.
The CVAC has 2 different spring breaks.
Yeah.
The Western Foothills has 3.
Wow.
It's getting ready to
Lavelle
get
Hall
crazy.
has headaches too,
Oh
right?
my gosh, yes. And then you have rainouts that happened this past week,
Oh,
which
no.
led me to ask, and anybody that wants to send me one, send me your favorite rain song. Your favorite rain song.
Okay.
Just think about that.
Oh, there's so many.
Don't just. Let's just
Try to
wait a
think
few
of
minutes
one.
before you give one,
Yeah,
because
good idea.
because I want the people that are listening want to share their favorite rain song. I've got 3 or 4 in my head already.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
By the way, then Jared was supposed to play Burns last night, and that got postponed too. No dates set on that one. So.
Okay, they were supposed to play Burns last night.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they played
Thursday night.
Okay.
Played West Lincoln Thursday.
Okay.
It's get confusing.
Well, they
yeah.
played West Lincoln last night, right?
No, Thursday night.
Was it
No.
Thursday? It was last night, Mike.
No,
No, it was Thursday.
Thursday night.
They're all running
Now
together
I'm
to me now.
confused.
They're all
Yeah.
running together to me. I don't know if anybody got their games in
And it
last
was
night.
supposed to
because
be in
it
Burns
it got
last
really
night,
bad.
wasn't it?
Supposed to be at Burns
And
last
did they
night.
play Burns on Tuesday too? I'm just asking.
Yeah,
A
they
lot of
did.
times they play that
lost that one 2-1.
back to back.
Yeah, they were good. Well, you know, in the Southern Piedmont in baseball, they just do a series back
yeah.
to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
if
that
you play
week-
Best for City, you're going to play Best for City twice that week.
Right.
Kind of thing.
And sometimes they'll punch a non-conference game in between.
They might
and
punch.
that's kind of what was going on.
That was what was going on with West Lincoln.
Yeah.
I know that Newton Conover got their home game in last night. They beat Bunker Hill by
Wow,
a score of
really?
5-4. Chase beat Patton 4-3 last night in high school baseball action. Wow, a lot of close games. High Brighton 6-5 over Watauga. Freedom and Ashe County no score, so that one may not have gotten played. Let's see. Am I on Friday here? This is what threw me off. My scoreboard is on Friday the 11th, and that's why it's got back-to-back wins on
That's
the
right.
West Lincoln, because
Yeah,
it's
Friday.
on the scoreboard for Friday. The Cherryville 3-2. No, I'm sorry, it's a whole different. West Lincoln. That's what got me. West Lincoln's in another 3-2 game.
Oh, were
But they won it.
East Burke last
They
night.
beat East Burke
Okay.
last night,
I did not know
3-2.
that.
Hickory over West Iredale last night, 5-2. Let's see, Smoky Mountain, Tuscola. Tuscola a winner 4-1 over Smoky Mountain, and that's it. It was a very, very abbreviated schedule last night because of the weather. Let's see what songs we're getting, and then I'll let you guys either go. The first one I get here, the Beatles, "Rain."
Yeah.
That's just the title of the song.
That's all it is.
Rains,
When
very
the
simple.
rains came, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Rodney, that came from Ned. Rodney Willis says, country song. You want to guess the country song with probably the most popular
Blue
one?
Eyes Crying in the Rain.
No.
No. Oh.
You want to guess his country song, Brett? For, I'd say probably in the 80s, if I had to guess.
Kentucky Rain?
No.
Rainy Night in Georgia?
No.
Yeah.
We're getting to name a lot of them here.
Name a lot of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
This guy's last name is an animal.
Oh, Love a Rainy Night.
You got it.
Love the
You got
Eddie
it.
Rabbit.
Eddie Rabbit.
Yep.
Love the rainy
I
night.
doubt that's his real name.
No.
I'm going to guess that's not his real name. Brett, Mike, Lenny, what's your favorite rain song?
Well, let's go back to the Temps, R&B. Oh, how I wish it would rain.
That's a great one. Yeah.
That was my lyrics just a week or
Yeah,
two
you
ago.
had
It was.
those lyrics.
Yes, it was.
My favorite one, When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. One of my favorite Zepp songs.
Lenny, you got a favorite
I
rain?
can't think.
And
of
that's
right.
I think that's a much older
I
song
heard
that they
he's named on
covered.
Rainy Night
Yeah,
in
that's
Georgia.
an old
That was
blues.
the one that come to my mind.
Which one?
Rainy Night in Georgia.
Rainy Night in
Brett had
Georgia.
said
Of course, Don Revels would choose a Cher song. I love it.
Which
Rain, Rain by Cher. Of
By
course, he
Cher.
says.
And Led Zeppelin also has the Rain song.
That's right,
And
they do.
Fool in the Rain.
Well, we're going to stop because, Rodney mentions one of the two, but CCR
Yeah.
has the two best. Who'll Stop the Rain?
Who'll Stop the Rain?
And Have You Ever Seen the
Have
Rain?
you ever seen
I mean,
that?
that's my two favorite, and that's just my
Yeah.
opinion. My two favorite ones are those two right there. And if I had to pick one of the two, I think it would be Have You Ever Seen the Rain?
That would be my pick.
You know, yeah. But Who'll Stop the Rain is also real good. Rainy Night in Georgia. I'm guessing that one got mentioned. What else? There are plenty of them out there.
Raining in Baltimore by Counting Crows. That's
Raining.
probably not one that anybody knows.
Yeah.
November Rain. Guns N'
November
Roses.
Rain.
Cold November Rain.
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Would you not
But
think?
my favorite one is When the Levee Breaks. Doesn't have rain in the
Right.
title, but it's
Yeah, it's
if it
about
keeps
a lot
on
of
raining.
Water keep on raining.
would you not think that just about every artist out there?
Has a rain song.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine somebody that's been around for a while. You know, just off the top of my head, I can't think of an Aerosmith song that. But there probably is. I mean, they probably got one out there. I think we've probably hit the top.
I think it was an old
8 or
one
10.
by Johnny Rivers, Summer Rain, I think. Trying to think of some more.
Yeah, there are plenty of them. Plenty of them out there.
Singing in the Rain.
Singing in
Singing
the Rain.
in the Rain.
Yeah. That would be who actually sang that?
Here's
That'd have
another
to
one.
be
Waylon Jennings, Rainy Day Woman.
Rainy Day Woman.
Said earlier, my
Blame It
blue
on the
eyes
Rain.
crying in
Milli
the rain.
Vanilli.
Nobody
Oh, yeah,
sang
Willie.
it.
Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain.
Yeah, who did actually sing "Blame It on the Rain"?
James Taylor, Fire and Rain.
Fire and Rain.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
That's right.
Carpenters, Rainy Days and
Rainy
Mondays,
Days and Mondays.
always get me down. That comes from Ned. We also got Rodney saying Prince's Purple Rain.
Yeah. And we had rain.
Was that
this
Prince's
past
biggest
Monday.
hit? Purple Rain had to be, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Little Red Corvette,
Yeah. A lot of them.
1999.
1999.
Party like it's 1999.
Not now, we're not. We're well.
But I'm well past that.
Yeah. You can keep the rain songs coming while we're
There's plenty more of them.
there is that. There is that. Biggest story this week in sports? Was there one?
Oh, I guess it was Florida winning the national title.
Yeah. How about anything big, major, off the court, off the field? I guess this NIL stuff.
Yeah.
I did
but
see.
that's going to be something new every week, maybe every day.
I did see this. Y'all probably did too. And I think it's maybe NIL. You talking about coaches leaving?
Mm-hmm.
I seen that Greg McDermott at Creighton had brought in a new assistant coach in waiting.
I thought you were going to tell me he was
Who is
leaving.
he?
And, it's Alan Huss, who was the head coach at High Point
Okay.
this year.
High Point made the tournament.
And
They
yeah,
did.
and he went back. Said that's where he had come from. He was an assistant. He went back, and he's been named coach in waiting. And they didn't say when, but I thought probably soon.
Yeah,
Probably
McDermott.
soon.
He's in his 60s.
He's
right?
60. That's what I read.
Yep.
How big of a story would it be? And Brett don't think this is going to happen, and I am 75% not thinking it's going to happen. But Cooper Flagg has said he is struggling with making a decision.
Wow.
Okay? There's a couple different ways to look at this. He can make big money now in college.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? He can get paid money in college. And next year he will be the age of a college freshman. So it's not like he's given up.
It's a great point.
Do I think if I had to bet, $100 right now on which way, I think he would leave. I think he's going to go. But it's in his mind that he is, is there a scenario you could see him staying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that you think about it, there are advantages to stay.
Most people always left one and done because you got to get the money while you can because you might get hurt and
you
never be able to make it.
And you want to get that for first 3 years in,
right?
Because then that's when you can really.
After your rookie contract, you're eligible for a much bigger deal. So the quicker he gets there and gets started, the quicker he gets to the really big contract.
That's true. I heard this on a McDonald's game, and I'm sorry, I'm not a Duke fan, but they were talking about A.J. DeBanza that some NBA scouts had said they would take him number one. This was Corey Alexander talking.
I
was sitting there and I said, I'm taking Cooper Flagg. I mean, if I'm drafting, whether they're both there next year or not, I'm taking Cooper Flagg.
Wasn't it the
DeBanza's been passed as the number one player.
Ian Carty, who said that?
He was
on the broadcast too. Right now he would take the BYU recruit over Flagg.
He was saying 75% were Flagg, but there's like 25% then that would if DeBanza was in it, which he can't be this year, but he would be drafted number one. But like I say, I got to see that before
Which you can't tell from an all-star game.
That's
like
right,
that,
and you can't tell from a high school game to a college game.
No.
We're almost out of time. A couple things I need to mention. Rodney says, don't forget Ovechkin. Ovechkin setting the record. Has he passed him yet, or is they still tied?
He did.
He did pass.
Sunday.
Okay.
I believe it's Sunday.
I never thought that Gretzky's record would fall.
Let's see. 50-50. Steve K needs to send him some money. That's Scott talking about Cooper.
Dennis the Menace passed away. David, you sent me that text.
Jay North.
Jay North.
Jay North
passed away.
Longtime TV star as a kid.
Did he do much beyond Dennis the Menace?
From what I read, no. He eventually got
child star.
I'm going to say much. No, he might have done something other than that, but it couldn't have been much because he's always been known for Dennis.
Well, that's the problem with child stars. How do you follow it up?
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
The guy in Home Alone's still popular.
He's still popular.
Yeah. I'm not Home Alone and the one I'm thinking, the Christmas Story.
Yeah.
What's his name? Yeah. They have him on TV all the time. We thank you for tuning in to Sports Talk this morning. Lenny, Mike, Brett, I'm David. We'll see you next week.